From a strange YouTube search term that is Elsagate related and leads down a dark rabbit hole, to a content creator known for roasting people in a city having his life taken and then sampled by Beyonce, to a South Korean actress who left a haunting final video that contained some sort of secret cryptic message. All this and more in this disturbing media Iceberg Explained. Play 2. This was a video considered the most obscure creepy video found on the site, according to YouTuber Watch, who makes list videos of the topmost things. And all we get in the form of info is that it only has 77 views, the title is Play 2, and the brief reading, user Mother8538 gives the viewer a stark warning that the worst is yet to come. A lighter spark is the thumbnail on this list representing the video, so of course go check out the video. But it's now gone, so is it lost media? Not exactly. Someone was able to retrieve the channel via the Wayback Machine, with 5 videos posted being titled Play 2, Punish, Think, Wait, and Play, all posted 5 years ago from today. So it definitely was a real channel, but the channel was wiped by YouTube, removed completely, so we cannot see what is in the actual videos. It was so obscure that it didn't even survive the internet is forever thing. Another thing that survived from this wipe was a potential either screenshot from a video or a thumbnail of a baby doll sitting on a chair, with similar carpet showing to the one in the Watch 2 list countdown video thumbnail. Internet users were also able to trace the image back to a girl on a Chinese social media. So case solved, it was just this girl trolling us all the way from China. Is this real Mother8538? Because the videos were also posted on this random Chinese site via posting a link under the username false or true, almost taunting followers of this rabbit hole, where they also met the same fate they would meet on YouTube. Their video got taken down. That means it's gotta be a pretty serious video. A Redditor would also go on to explain that if you search up that username, a gore site would pop up as a suggestion on Google's search engine, writing on their Reddit post that they were too scared to open it up, but that it could be that lost media. Some say this lost media started with the girl narrating and then using a lighter in front of the camera, stating that she was gonna do something, over and over again. Then a screamer appears, and the video cuts, maybe meaning she took her life, or maybe also speculating that she burned that doll that appeared to share the same exact carpet as the lighter video. Maybe she was too graphic with it, and it triggered some AI alarm takedown once people flocked to watch it all at once. Missy Maya, otherwise known as Anthony, was a YouTuber in the 2010s. At the time, he was a 22-year-old filled with dreams of becoming a famous rapper from the city of New Orleans, Louisiana. His channel, titled The Hugs, was filled with videos of him just strolling through his city, being a troll to people, with his own little goofy spin. From roasting people to rapping, he had it figured out. He was messy and proud of it, saying things like, "Who's gonna pop me?" invited negative attention from those who opposed him. He loved agitating the haters, taunting them. He knew he was getting into serious trouble with people's emotions, but this wasn't anything to be scared of to him, because he grew up in a rough environment, where he saw his friends pass away at young ages. This was nothing new to him, even having to move to Houston, Texas to evade the heat he was catching from his foul comments, taking us to November 2010. On the 14th, Anthony was supposed to be hosting his son's baby shower, when all of a sudden, on an empty street, somebody had finally confronted him, taking his life at close range with a gun. Multiple shots were fired, leading to irreversible changes. His people were crying, one called police, while another filmed and photographed his last moments as he bled out on the street. Quickly, the image was posted and made its rounds in his community, and online in general, where he was seen with his face down on the ground in a pool of his own. Yeah, this mentally scarred his fans, but also drew more attention to his videos, something he always wanted. The most haunting thing about this case is that at first, his supposed killer, 24-year-old Jason Hamilton, had a similar striking appearance to Anthony. His confession was taken seriously for 3 years, until finding that he was on medication for bipolar disorder and had an alibi to prove he wasn't there when Anthony's life was taken. His charges were dropped, and the case remained unsolved, though his messy spirit lives on forever. Anthony was sampled in the beginning of Beyonce's song Formation, a shout out to Louisiana culture, though his family didn't appreciate the gesture and sued Beyonce, settling out of court. La Pascualita. La Pascualita is a famously lifelike bridal mannequin that stood for decades in the window of La Popular dress shop in Chihuahua, Mexico. First displayed in 1930, the legend says she isn't a mannequin at all, but the perfectly embalmed corpse of the shop owner, Pascuala Esparza's daughter, who supposedly died on or just before her wedding day, often said to be from a black widow or scorpion bite. What fuels the myth are details like her hyperreal hands, visible veins, her glassy eyes, and the store's practice of changing her clothes behind curtains and only letting certain people do it, plus stories that her gaze follows visitors and that brides who buy from the shop gain good luck. With people trying to capture all this on camera, saying that her eyes follow them. Researchers and mortuary professionals who've weighed in say a real corpse couldn't sit for decades in a shop window without intensive preservation measures. So the consensus is that she's an exceptionally crafted figure doll, likely wax or a high quality mannequin, not a mummy, but the legend lives on, claiming she moves at night. The Ava Wood case. In the quiet town of Baldwinsville, New York, Ava Wood was the kind of girl everyone noticed, but not for the reasons you might think. She wasn't loud, she wasn't flashy, but when she stepped onto the soccer field or walked the halls of Durkee Junior High, she carried something with her, an energy that made people feel better just by being around her. Coaches said she was a natural leader, the kind of teammate who never gave up on a play or a friend. At just 14 years old, Ava had already become a core part of her community. Teachers loved her. Her friends said that she was the glue that held their group together. This was a girl who had her whole life ahead of her. So when Ava didn't show up for school one Friday morning in January, people noticed. Her mom had texted her the night before. No reply. Then again in the morning, still nothing. That wasn't like her. She was responsible. She answered. Concern turned to dread, and by the time police entered her father's home for a wellness check, it was too quiet. What they found would leave a permanent scar on the community. Ava was gone, found in her bedroom with a fatal wound. Her father, Christopher Wood, was also dead, another gunshot wound in a separate room. And just like that, the image of a loving dad and a happy daughter shattered into something darker, something far more terrifying. It came out that Ava's parents had separated the year before. Her mom had reported disturbing behavior from Christopher, including stalking, harassment, threatening messages, but despite it all, there had never been a formal arrest, no protection order, no legal line drawn between Ava and the man who was clearly unraveling. Just 16 days before the shooting, Christopher purchased a gun, legally, quietly. No one stopped him, no red flag system intervened, and 2 days before, Christopher Wood told Heather Wood, "This is how it ends for us." On the day that it occurred, Ava had spent part of the day with her father, Christopher Wood, who had visitation rights. According to reports, she texted her mother later that evening saying goodnight. It would be the last time anyone heard from her. Ava's mother, Heather Wood, began texting Ava that morning like usual to wake her up and check in before school, but Ava never responded. That was unusual. Ava was responsible, punctual, and had no history of skipping. When Ava didn't show up to Durkee Junior High School that morning, the school contacted her mother. At this point, Heather tried to reach Ava and Christopher again, but still nothing. By 8 a.m., Heather called 911 and asked for a welfare check at Christopher's home on River Point South, where Ava had been staying overnight. Officers from the Baldwinsville Police Department responded and used the key provided by Heather to enter the home, finding them a gruesome scene. The support by the community after it was made public was tremendous, with friends and family sharing pictures and stories of Ava. It seemed all too much, and it may have been, because these accounts posting tributes to her and remembering her didn't have any ties to her or actually knew her in real life. These were fake accounts making all these statements. These pages were from strangers who never knew who she was in real life. At Stay Strong for Ava Wood was one of these strange new remembrance tribute pages for the girl, making over 200 posts about the matter. And if you were to check the followers, they were all Ava Wood accounts made to commemorate her life, but nobody knew who was behind these many bizarre new accounts that didn't actually personally know Ava. But somehow, they had pictures ready to post of her with heartfelt messages saying rest in peace, all interacting with one another like they were fans of this 14-year-old girl who wasn't even remotely famous. It became a meme to just pay tribute to the girl, and some knew that they were crossing the line, admitting that they never knew who Ava actually was, but still made edits of her like that was their best friend, an almost parasocial relationship with a girl who wasn't even famous, but was only recently known because she was a victim of a horrific crime on behalf of her dad. Hashtag spreading awareness were tags used to justify it all, as these accounts gained thousands of followers and clout. Police even had to step in to warn community members that scams were going around of people acting like Ava Wood's family members asking for money for a fundraiser. Robert Fulton Elementary School. This Cleveland, Ohio school was abandoned, leading to it deteriorating over time, leaving it for the YouTube explorers to profit off of. Urbix Hill explored its insides, showing us how much the place had fallen apart since his last visit in 2022. The middle was rusting and the ceilings were leaking, looking like a scene straight out of The Last of Us. People who had last gone in there left some creepy writings like "Do not go further." He thought he was alone, but still heard noises around him. Luckily, he got everything on camera, including the fact that he wasn't the only living large creature in that building. Yeah, there was another man in there with him.
Somebody's been living in here. Oh! Fuck! Somebody's in there.
Try GF. In 2024, a Redditor was bored and began searching random stuff on YouTube, hitting random letters, trying the YouTube slot machine. What he found was something much sinister that he never thought he would find. He searched up the letters Try GF or TryGIF and began to scroll down to see what videos were suggested. Nothing too surprising at first, so he decided to search again, hitting the back button, back to YouTube's home menu, but this time, his search bar suggested some random assortment of emojis alongside the term TryGIF. If you click on any of the recommended searches, content related to children show up, like car surprise egg. Though at first it may seem innocent, the Redditor believes that these are content that predators like to watch and are dog whistles, a lingo only they know, secret words, keeping their favorite videos hidden under certain searches you would only accidentally stumble upon, hidden right on the surface of the internet. But keep in mind, these are only videos of kids reviewing toys under the specific search term, so they're innocent. But to them, it's a material that they like to watch. Going back and even changing things around to TryFG this time, or TryFig, it will take you to even darker content, with 6 different accounts using the same video titles under TryFG, stating "You did it, congratulations" within the video. The Redditor stated that they found videos related to cannibalism and much more darker, sinister stuff when using this phrase in the search. They also believe that they saw the infamous but distorted version of the Dark Cartel video under the name of Funky Town, using the search term as well, where someone's face is taken off. Searching up the given username of this mystery channel that seems linked or connected to this term, there's tons of other creepy content, especially in this playlist titled Pilzer Super TV, where LZW unlisted videos can be found, most likely the same person posting all this creepy content, some of it ElsaGate inspired, where Prids try to hide adult themes and kids media directed towards children, like this cartoon pixelated one with strange voice modification, or this doll one. All of this is unsettling. There's also brainwashing type of content, where trigger words are given to whomever is willing. Tying this back to Pilzer, the name of the playlist containing eerie content, it is in reference to the town in South Carolina, where this original poster may be from. This whole mystery also reminds me of the Pipergate incident that happened around 4 years ago, where this creep decided to post videos of this girl called Piper, that he most likely didn't know, and decided to add a strange voice to it, similar to this.
Someone stabbed me in my kidney. I am toxic. I am going into toxic shock. Someone stabbed me.
So, you guys, hope you like it.
Another strange video depicts the LZW person fronting to be a 14-year-old trying to invite an adult over, sort of Predator catching Gideon style. So what is he, a Dexter type of guy? Evil but with a semi-good heart? Is he gonna Dexter this 25-year-old man as a punishment for his crime? Art or not, this makes for a great Netflix series. YouTube meet and greet. On June 10th, 2016, 22-year-old singer and YouTube star Christina Grimmie, who'd built a massive following online and gained national fame on The Voice, finished a small, intimate show at the Plaza Live in Orlando and stayed behind, like she always did, to hug fans, sign autographs, and take photos. Among the line of supporters was 27-year-old Kevin James, a stranger to her, but a man who, according to those who knew him, had developed an obsessive, delusional fixation on Christina and convinced himself that they were meant to be together. That night, Kevin James traveled alone from St. Petersburg, Florida, armed with 2 legally purchased handguns, extra magazines, and a large hunting knife, entering a venue where bags were checked, but there were no metal detectors, no pat-downs, and no serious barrier between a performer and anyone determined to get close. When it was his turn in the meet and greet line, Christina opened her arms to greet him with a hug, something that defined her connection with her fans, and Kevin pulled the gun, firing multiple times at her at point-blank range. Her brother Marcus immediately tackled him in a move police later called heroic, almost certainly preventing a further disaster, but in the struggle, Kevin broke free, turned the weapon on himself, and died at the scene, while Christina was rushed to the hospital, where she was pronounced dead shortly after. In the aftermath, investigators found Kevin had altered his appearance, isolated himself, and fixated on Grimmie with an unrealistic infatuation, but left no manifesto, his phone encrypted, his computer drive destroyed, and feeding a sense of horror around how silently and easily a parasocial obsession had escalated into real-world violence, and leaving the why officially unresolved beyond a possessive, if I can't have you, no one can mindset. Aparición de un Duende, elf spotted in Mexico, is a popular known pair of videos in the Latin American community that depict a supposed humanoid-type figure like a dwarf, otherwise known as a duende in Spanish, running across and making a brief appearance in the background of these videos. The kids are just playing in a grassy area having fun when out of nowhere a small creature pops out scaring them away, and in the other one, the kids are in the kitchen playing when the dwarf runs behind them in a coat. Of course, these are fake, but at one point in internet history, these were taken seriously. The Dan Silly Files. Self-titled channel Dan Silly would post strange videos where he would creep up on women out in the street. Trying to get a good thumbnail for his viewers, he would just attempt to interact with women any way he thought was appropriate. His first video, titled I Will Grab Women Soon, was posted on June 25th, 2016. Awkwardly speaking about women's appearances in front of the camera, he would get very detailed about their race, and that's just to say the least. He held very extreme beliefs about a woman's place in society, saying things like women are too safe and cuddled by society, though his description section is even more strange, detailing his plan to quote-unquote grab women, and will attempt to do this to any woman he sees whether they want to participate or not. He acknowledges that what he is doing would be illegal, and that he wants to film said attack he will be doing. In these videos, he is hilariously mostly just ignored by most if not all the women he is approaching in the first few seconds. They already decided that he was not a person worth interacting with, laughing it off, then walking away from his shenanigans, or he follows them and just focuses in on their boobs with his camera. The grown-ass man has no shame. All this just to find out that he's actually publicly known and made it onto the news as a registered offender for harassing a minor. Owen Hai. She was a South Korean actress, starting her career in 2011 in the film Sin of a Family. The same year, she gained public attention during the 16th Busan International Film Festival due to her revealing orange dress. In 2012, she was cast in a film Marrying the Mafia 5, but this opportunity fell through, so she turned into a YouTuber in the beauty genre, being pretty popular, trying to get a fresh start in a new field, just making regular beauty tips, talking in front of the camera type of videos, though this would be her last venture. 2 days after being live and showing her audience her makeup routine, she would be found dead. puzzling her friends and family alike, not to mention all her loving fans. September 14th, 2020, Oh was found unconscious at her home in Sangdo International Business District by her friend who was just checking up on her. She was rushed to a nearby hospital, but by then, it was too late, as she had died of cardiac arrest at 36 years of age, with the authorities concluding that she had taken her own life, confirmed by an autopsy on the 15th. But everything was kept private in that situation, leaving fans with many unanswered questions. They went back and rewatched her last video posted titled In Hai's Nightly Routine Skincare and noticed some oddities, like her title containing a random number pair that didn't align with the chronological order she put her videos in, jumping from number 45 to 48. Where and what were those missing videos in between? Or did she just accidentally type in the wrong numbers and just left it as is? Fans found this unlike her, as she was more careful and detailed than this. 48 seconds in, there is also a strange error in the video itself, as it repeats a scene over and over again, leaving viewers unsettled, knowing what comes afterwards. Sure, you could explain this one off as a simple corrupted file, but the coincidence of it happening at the 48-second mark just creates an even greater mystery for internet detectives. Was this a secret message, a cry for help, or something much more sinister from another person behind it all trying to tease fans? Watching further, we come across a strange high-pitched second voice. Maybe it was added after as some sort of inside joke, but even her biggest fans didn't understand what it meant, because translating it leads to a bigger rabbit hole, as it translates to "I'm going to die" 1 minute and 31 seconds into the video. Despite this, others claim if you slow it down more, it actually says "wipe it," but many believe it was sped up on purpose as a sort of discreet way to actually warn others that she was going to die, as it sounds rather similar. Another strange voice comes in again later in the video, but it's harder to tell what is actually being said. Ignoring what just happened, the rest of the video plays as normal. This was unlike anything she would ever post on her channel. One thing to note is that she did in fact acknowledge the weird glitches in her video, but not within the video itself, but later in the title, simply asking the viewer to skip over the buffering part, acting like it was a simple computer editing software malfunction. People also find the exact glitch bizarre, as it's repeating a scene that kind of looks like she's getting her neck chopped, I guess, or that she's chopping her neck with a comb. Do you guys think this was a bizarre coincidence or done on purpose? A glitch in the matrix of life? Another claim is that she did this all on her own as a sort of cry for help, 48 being a common number found everywhere in her videos. Maybe she was into numerology and really liked the number 48. The coincidence was too great for some. Though this was her last video post, it wasn't her last one on social media in general. For her actual last post on the internet, she had uploaded a picture of a flower. The caption says, "I guess everyone is seeing this, even the person who said I'm just a body, that he can even use till the end. I have to expose you due to that phrase you used. I didn't want to believe anything else coming out from that mouth." The flower pic had a tag, a popular, well-respected lawyer, Wang Hu. This post was taken down though, and so were the lawyer's social medias. The main theory was that the attorney, Wang Hu, had done something to her allegedly, and she was going to go public with it and make a statement. But before she could, the lawyer played dirty and pulled some strings to keep her silent. Her own family noticed bruises on her body when she arrived at the hospital. This is all alleged public stories going around about them, not proven as a fact. Ori Chef. A Facebook account by the name of Ori Chef had been found to post odd cryptic media with no context. Appearing in 2015, it began posting mysterious horror-like content that led people to believe that it led down a rabbit hole, as it mixed reality with the horror realm imagination of whoever was putting these videos together and posting them onto Facebook. From graphic images to simple creepy clips, the rumors began to circulate that the person behind the posts was a depraved individual and was leaving hidden messages for like-minded people, as they were accused of alluding to CSAM materials and things along those predatory lines. And it's not surprising, as meta platforms have been known as the breeding grounds for these sickos, as the Chris Hansen-like videos depict them contacting and trading info via Insta. Another strange aspect about this account was the friends list. It contained the same duplicate profiles of Ori Schiff as friends, meaning that even if you took down one of their accounts, they had many more to go. Sergio Rasta's disappearance. The Sergio Rasta case never sat right with me. His self-titled channel stopped posting at some point after gaining weight and having a kid, which were topics he openly discussed with his community about and how he felt bad about it. And instead, he began going live, trying to sell iPhones on the low for very good prices. Prices that were almost too good to be true, as people who ordered from him would soon find out that the Apple products he sold was actually part of a massive scam that Sergio was pulling off on all of his fans, trying to milk them for the last bit of nostalgia they had for him. He sold them trust and they were willing to buy it, though on his last gambling live stream he would reveal that he badly needed the money, and his audience took notice of his disheveled appearance, and some would say that he was high on something and needed the money to buy more quickly, so instead of making videos, he resorted to scamming his own audience base, and had allegedly made a few thousand at least doing it. This would cause for his own fans to come out against him, even having an encounter where a person looking to fight him stabbed him in the back of his head. His inactivity led people to discover that he had died of an allegedly either overdose or some say car crash. His family was never specific, nor did they owe the public anything, though some theorized that he had faked his own death and fled to Mexico in order to escape the hefty debts he owed. Whatever he did, his death was very private with no obituary, just silence from his channel, with some claiming they see him in Chicago to this day, out in public, in the grocery store. There was one update on his Facebook that gained suspicion because it was in the year 2020, leading people to question the truth, asking, "I thought you were dead." Though finally his girlfriend would come out to confirm that he did indeed pass away and was not still alive, though many still speculate that he's still alive and that they're fronting for him because of this quote-unquote massive debt that he owes allegedly. Facebook Live incident. On August 16th, 2020 in Cedar Park, Texas, 26-year-old Joseph Deshaun Taylor kicked in the door of his mother's home, prompting a 911 call. When officers entered, he opened fire, wounding officers Jacqueline Keelis, Chris Hister, and Nick Anderson, who were all hospitalized but survived. Taylor then barricaded himself inside with 3 relatives, his mother, brother, and sister in a family pit, as a massive police response locked down the neighborhood. Over the course of the initial exchange and standoff, more than 50 rounds were fired, according to police. What made the incident explode online was that Taylor went live twice on Facebook from inside the house, around an hour of footage total, at points speaking with a negotiator, and the negotiators worked through the night. Just before 8 a.m. the next morning, Taylor released his siblings, and roughly at 9 a.m., he walked out alongside his mother and surrendered without further gunfire.
Hey Joseph, man, how you doing, brother?
Man, what's going on, man? They not doing good. They ain't harmed or nothing, but they would like to leave.
Okay. Well, hey, so I wanted to let you know, man, I went to try to find out about the officers that came in, and all the officers were okay.
Yeah, on the internet it said something about officer got
You know?
That's good to hear.
Hey, Joseph, so man, I know you don't trust me, man. You told me that earlier, but what can you give me something so that I can earn your trust? Can you give me something that I can do for you?
Yeah, you can give my little sister her phone back and call me from a different phone. That's what you can do.
Give your little sister back her phone?
Yeah, because I don't appreciate you taking my little sister's phone. You got my little sister worried. As long as he got my little sister, she should be safe, right?
But you come out and get checked out, man, then you can talk to your sister.
I'm working on that, man. Yeah, I keep calling. I'm trying to have a conversation. Once this conversation over, I can work with y'all.
Well, I understand
Can
that,
you
but
understand
you
that?
look at it from...
I understand your viewpoint.
Dumb Ways to Die paper version. This is a video found on YouTube depicting a family dancing to the Australian Public Awareness Campaign song that had gone viral, so they made a parody version of it around that time. Innocent enough, you wouldn't pay much attention to it until you start digging into the original poster's account and their life. Jen the Cat, Jen from Montreal, Canada, worked as an actress part-time, posting videos of her cameos and commercials and television appearances online to get recognition for her work, trying to build an impressive catalog, even landing a major background role in Spider-Man 3 and Star Trek Into Darkness. It seemed all great for the part-timer, even collabing with her husband in videos, Vincent Maggio, also a part-time actor but mainly fitness trainer. Her younger sisters were also present in the viral parody, Emily and Lily. All seems good when watching at first glance, and when comparing the other videos she had, this one had outperformed strangely. Living in the United States with a green card, this seemed like a great opportunity, and at this time, she could potentially open up a door to a YouTube parody career or something like that. Though Robert Rose would bring up the fact in a blog post that she wouldn't be in the States for long unless something changed in her life and the stability of her immigration status. Her dear friend was concerned, but Vincent wouldn't let this last, as he would seal their marriage officially, allowing her to stay, making home in Los Angeles, California. Everything was perfect, a Hollywood dream. Stability was one thing they did not achieve though, and sadly, as this triggered a hailstorm. In 2014, they divorced, with Maggio falling into a manic state because of this break, but still keeping up with his ex, even going on a Valentine's Day outing together as friends. Jessica, an involved neighbor, knew that he was not being himself. Something had changed inside of Vincent for the worse, referring them to a counselor, but it didn't really help their relationship at all. Tragically, in 2015, in a Beverly Hills apartment, Jen would be found by police deceased from a wound. The person who pulled the trigger was her ex-husband. Filled with either rage or hopelessness, he had done it and then took his own life. Worst of all, the person to find them was not a stranger at all. It was Vincent's own son, 18-year-old Devin, discovering the horrifying scene only minutes after the events had occurred and gunshots rang out. A mind-altering experience. Jen only made it to 31 years of age, and Vincent was 40 years old. Their viral video is still up and available to watch, with only the comments turned off. I don't know if this was done after the fact, but it remains clear that the people we watch online are not in the always happy-go-lucky mood they represent in the videos. The killer in this video, Vincent Maggio, was even dressed as Jason the Killer. Sad Satan, Obscure Horror Corner, was a channel that started to gain traction around 2015 for its series of video game playthroughs of the deep web horror game titled Sad Satan. In the game, we see dark, creepy halls as haunting audio blares, and the screen flickers with distorted, chilling images. This led to many other people interested in the game blowing up its popularity to the point of a video game blog caring enough to reach out to the creator of the series, Obscure Horror Corner, for an interview. In this interview, he would go on to reveal that the download link for the game was given to him by an anonymous source that allegedly claimed it was originated on the dark web. He even went out of his way to post that exact download link for the original game on Reddit r/Sad Satan. Though, if you were online at that time and clicked on this download link, nothing would happen. It was a broken link and it was done on purpose, and Redditors called him out for it, saying that this was all a sham. Though he claimed that he just did it because he didn't want to let people down and be responsible for the mental health issues that the real game would cause to someone. The guilt would be too much for him to bear, apparently, saying that some of the images were straight up illegal and could get someone into a lot of trouble. On 4chan, we got the other side of the story, where a man claimed to be the original source, finally revealing the OG download link, but this time it had way more disturbing media than at first believed, with some who downloaded it saying that they got viruses from the file, causing their computer to act very strangely and die. So if there was no original video game, that could only mean that the YouTuber faked it for views. But if that's true, where did the footage come from? How was it made? Natural Selector 89. Pekka Erik Avinen was born June 4th, 1989 in Tuusula, Finland. He had a father and mother in his life, as well as a little brother. Though he was described as a happy kid growing up, many of his teachers and peers would describe him as antisocial and awkward, standing out as being extremely interested in history. His teacher would also note that he had overprotective parents who never let him do much outside of school, even receiving 10 missing phone calls at one point from the parents when they were on a school camping trip. It was the first time Pekka had ever spent the night somewhere else at 12 years old. The boy also had the belief that he was superior over his classmates, far more intelligent, and was special. And in 8th grade, he would begin to go to school in a suit and carry the Communist Manifesto with him. At 18, he would have few friends he would share his radical ideas with and would sport a long leather jacket daily. Between December 2006 and January 2007, Pika's parents sought help for his depression and anxiety by trying to have him evaluated at a psychiatric outpatient clinic, but this was declined because his symptoms were seen as relatively mild. Instead, they were advised to start him on antidepressant medication before considering hospitalization. Pika told an online acquaintance that he would not be attending his upcoming military service and sent her several ominous and violent messages of the stuff he was planning to do, but she didn't take it too seriously. He had previously used SSRIs inconsistently. At school, Pika was regularly bullied, and classmates noticed disturbing shifts in his behavior, but said that they received the same amount of bullying as he did, but reported to a youth worker that he acted menacingly and said they would die in a quote-unquote white revolution. One teacher later described him as a radicalized student who showed interest in both far-right and far-left ideologies, not really picking one side strongly. Pika had a number of online accounts, including 2 YouTube accounts under the aliases of Natural Selector 89 and Sturmgeist, on which he uploaded videos about violent school incidents, including the Columbine High School massacre, the Waco siege, the Tokyo subway sarin attack, and bombing during the invasion of Iraq. He would also state that everyone on Earth was praising fake gods, the wrong gods that don't exist, and that the real gods are human beings, especially the one talking to you as he stares at the camera, believing he was the Antichrist, followed by pictures of burning churches. Social Darwinism was his idea of reality. Social Darwinism is a set of ideologies that applied Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection to human society, arguing that survival of the fittest justified social inequality and competition. This set of ideas was used to promote the belief that the wealthy and powerful were fitter and deserved their success, while the poor were seen as inherently less suited for society and lazy. It was often used to rationalize and justify policies such as imperialism, racism, and the opposition to social welfare programs. He even had beef with YouTuber The Amazing Atheist, TJ Kirk. TJ would even make a reply video to his comments calling Natural Selection 89 a subpar human, also using his platform to warn others about these dark, type-minded individuals on YouTube that promoted school massacres and glorified loser killers, calling them sad and pathetic, but also rather dangerous to their community. Amazing Atheist called it out correctly, predicting the future, as Pika would go on to commit a gruesome crime not too long after. This all most likely triggered Pika for being called out, explaining his insane responses. YouTube did end up wiping his account, but he made a new one called Sturmgeist, where he would post videos of him shooting his legally obtained firearm. Commenter IKillYouAll667 said, "Wow, you named your gun? You're getting to be more and more like Eric," in reference to the Columbine shooter. November 7th, 2007, Pika uploaded his final video, Joe Killa High School Massacre. It starts off by showing an image of his school, then special effect transitions to pics of him pointing his weapon towards the camera, and on rapidshare.com, he would post documents translated into English of his attack plans for his high school that he was set to carry out. At approximately 11:40 a.m., Pika Eric Avinen entered Joe Killa High School's ground floor main hallway and began his attack.